Oh, Francis.
Yes, Melanie.
Yes, can you go back to what you just said? Because it went by and I was like, wait a minute. Only the noumenal experience is direct experience. No other experience is direct experience?
Yes, because any other form of experience is based upon some model of what we call reality.
Well, tasting a strawberry, I mean, is the problem that there is an intermediary in the case of the strawberry? Isn't it a direct experience?
No, but the interpretation of testing a strawberry by a biologist will be different and by a physicist will be different. So, and by a chemist it will be also different. So so because these interpretations are different, the models of what we call an experience are different.
So when you say direct experience, you mean on the absolute unchanging level of an experience which would be the same for all?
The absolute experience is the same for all, yes.
And that's what you qualify as direct experience.
Yeah, it is the only thing which is, consciousness is the only thing that we directly experience. Let me try to prove that to you in a different way. First, as I have often explained, we never see an object. We see only our perception of this object. For instance, if we go to the opera, you and I, and you and I, we don't see the same, we don't see and hear the same opera. For instance, we are not sitting on the same seat. And in front of me, there is this very tall guy, and I am not that tall. And in front of you, there is this tiny woman. So obviously what you see and what I see is very different, right?
Right.
Also, what we hear is not necessarily the same because I'm older, so perhaps the high frequency, I'm not hearing them as well, or for whatever reason, your ear is more trained. Also, as the soprano sings, I am into the music and you are into the technique. You know, you are watching the high C on the lady, you know, and so things like that. So obviously we don't see, when we don't hear the same thing. So what is it that we hear? We hear our perception, but we don't, right?
Yes.
So what is the thing out there that we claim to hear or to see? Neither of us sees it. Since our perceptions are different, it means that the thing in itself, the opera, you know, the così fan tutte, neither you nor I sees it. And right?
Does anyone see it?
We don't see, no, we don't see the same thing. We don't hear the same thing because we are in different moods, different ages, different ears, different positions. So we don't see or hear the same thing. So, in other words, you don't hear or see what I hear. I don't hear or see what you hear or see. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Right, or it's obvious. So, meaning that we only perceive what? Our thoughts, our external sense perceptions, and our bodily sensations. That's all there is to our phenomenal experience as human animals.
Yes.
So, but because of what I have said, of course, it was obvious that I don't perceive your thoughts. It was obvious that I don't perceive your bodily sensations. But it was less obvious to realize that I don't hear what you hear, that I don't see what you see, that I don't touch what you touch. You know, it was not obvious regarding what we perceive through the external senses. It was not obvious that we are not perceiving the same thing. Now that we have established that all we perceive are perceptions, nobody else perceives them, you understand that in fact our perceptions are not different in essence from our thoughts, because they are subjective in a sense. They are subjective. Everything we perceive could be a dream in the so-called waking state, because when we dream, we are not aware that we are dreaming. So that being established, that all of our perceptions are like thoughts. Let's look at the mechanism of a thought. Before a thought appears, there is awareness. During the presence of the thought, there is awareness of the thought. After the thought is finished, there is still awareness. Now, the question that arises is, does the thought as an experience have, as a subjective experience, does the thought have an existence, any existence independently from awareness as an experience? And the answer is no. Because before I thought the thought didn't exist. And after I have thought the thought I was thinking has absolutely ceased to exist. It is not somewhere where I could find it, right?
Right.
So, therefore, what is the nature, what is the substance of the thought? Before the thought, there was awareness. During the thought, there was awareness. After the thought, there is awareness. Conclusion. Without the thought, without the awareness, there is no thought. Without the thought, there is awareness. So the thought and is in relation to awareness in this position that I described earlier on of the hierarchy of reality. A depends on B for its existence, but B doesn't depend on A for its existence. The thought depends on awareness for its existence, but awareness doesn't depend on the thought for its existence. Conclusion. Therefore, the reality of the thought is awareness. What does it mean, the reality of the thought? It means what the thought is in reality. So in reality, there are no thoughts. There is only awareness. So far, so good?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, we have just seen and concluded that any perception In fact, experientially, is like a soul. There is no difference. Therefore, anything we perceive, be it a thought, a bodily sensation, or an external sense perception, is in reality awareness. Therefore, what is it that we perceive really experientially? Awareness, and only awareness. Therefore, the only real experience and the only direct experience we can have, we will ever have, is the experience of awareness.
Thank you so much.
That's why awareness is the only form of experience. And of course, it's the only form of direct experience. All the other form of experiences are concepts about experiencing that are created, if you will, as models of what goes on, but models are expendable. They are never absolute. And they are like tools in a toolbox. For instance, for the purpose of walking, and playing tennis, conducting my daily life, in most cases, I don't even need Newton's theory of gravity. I just have the common street, you know, the streetwise thing that I have to split my legs apart if I want to be more stable. And if I stand only on one leg, I am less stable. I don't have to invoke forces and sustentation polygons and this type of concepts. However, perhaps if I play tennis, I can go a little deeper. But if I am an aeronautical engineer, or if I'm in the business of sending bodies into space, then the common sense view of things, model, is not going to be very helpful. Because there are all kinds of things that are not obvious, like, I don't know, Coriolis forces, things like that. So we have to really use Newton's theory. And furthermore, if I want to design a GPS system, then even Newton's theory is not sufficient. Then I have to use Einstein's theory as a model to have an accurate GPS system. So the model we will be using will be like tools that we take from the toolbox to adapt them to the task at hand. In and by themselves, they are never absolute.
The other word in your sentence is noumenal. When you say noumenal experience, so awareness then is the only noumenal experience, really.
That's true. And in fact, it could be said that there is noumenal experience. But when I use noumenal versus phenomenal, it's because the experience of awareness comes in two flavors, like ice cream, you know. You could have, flavorless ice cream. I'm not sure it would be good. It would be pure milk, cream, and sugar, right? And then you would have vanilla, coffee, and strawberry, right? So that would be, the human experience would be of three kinds. ice cream, and then you have vanilla, that would be the experience of thoughts. Coffee would be the experience of bodily sensations. And what was the other one? Strawberry would be the experience of external sense perceptions. Remember that whether there is color and added flavor or not, it's the same basic component, sugar and milk cream, right?
Mm.
So the nominal aspect is the sugar and the milk cream. The phenomenal are the three flavors. Now, that doesn't exclude that other experiences that are possible, just as, I mean, there is milk cream in yogurt, there is milk cream in cheese, there is milk cream in the mouth of the little cubs. And so there are other form of existence of milk cream. But in the case of the human experience, what we have is the experience, the nominal experience, called awareness. And then we have these three forms: bodily sensation, sense perceptions, and thoughts. Now, we cannot exclude the possibility of other dimensions with other forms, with other flavors. Like if you go, as you know, since you live in Paris, if you go to Bertillon, you have many more delicious flavors of ice cream for our friends, American and from elsewhere. When you go to France, if you like ice cream, go to the Ile Saint-Louis and go to Bertillon and taste all those flavors. That's a nice experience.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. This was delicious.